Jason with Jason Smith Showcase Team in Miami, Florida. Also, you can find us on showcasemiami.com, our website. Real estate agent here, residential in the Miami, South Florida area. Just giving you an update on what's happening here in South Florida, showing you the trend graphics, which is the MLS, multiple listing service, in graph format, so we can kind of get an idea of what's happening. This is the overall market right here. This is all price points, residential, condos, single family, townhouses, multifamily, all of that included. And just to give you a 30,000 foot view of the market, the most recent data they have here in trend graphics is April 2022. And by the way, my number, if you ever need to contact me with any questions or comments, mobile phone number is 786-326-8115. 786-326-8115. So looking here, April 2022, there were 15,000 listings available in the Miami MLS, the Miami area, South Florida. 15,000 available listings. The question is, how does that compare to April of last year, 12 months ago? Last year, there were 25,000. So there were 10,000 more available listings last year in April than there were this year in April. Therefore, it's more of a seller's market, seller advantage now than it was a year ago, which is contrary to public opinion and what you're seeing right now with the interest rate rises that we've been having. So from a supply and demand standpoint, South Florida is definitely super attractive so far for sellers right now at this point in time. That's as of April from a supply standpoint. Let's see what the pending sales look like when they went under contract but had not yet closed in April, most recent data. There was about 11,897, about 12,000 pending sales that were heading towards closing, all price points in South Florida. Now, condo and single family. Let's look at April of last year. You had about 30% more pendings last year. So you had about 40% more listings available listings, but you also had 30% more pendings last year, 14,267 pending listings. Let's look at the closed sales this April just passed, 10,717 closed sales that month versus 14,515 closed sales last month. So more inventory last year in April, more closings, more pendings last year. So how does that work out as far as months of inventory that we often hear about in real estate? Understanding that 6 months is a balanced market where neither the seller nor the buyer has the advantage. Under 6 months, seller advantage. Over 6 months, buyer advantage. What does that mean? It would take 6 months for all the properties on the market to sell if no other property came on the market, right? So if we look at the months of inventory right here for all price points, condos, single family, townhouse in South Florida, over the past year or so, are we seeing more or less than 6 months of inventory? We're clearly seeing less than 6 months of inventory, meaning it's been a seller advantage, a dramatic seller advantage. April, 1.4 months, meaning everything on the market would have sold in 1.4 months if nothing else came on the market. Dramatic seller advantage signals appreciating prices. How was it the previous month in March? 1.2 months. So we see a little bit of an upward trend in inventory, but still a seller advantage from what the statistics or the data is showing us. If you look back at February of last year, 3.5 months, that was a seller advantage still because it's under 6 months. Now let's take a look, go back to this other graph that we had right here, just looking at some of the other metrics. So if we compare current versus same month 1 year ago, for sale, 38.6% less listings this April versus previous April 22 versus April 21. Sold, we have 26% less sales, and then pendings, 16% less pendings. So to me, this is the most important piece is the 38% less inventory. That's a driving factor right there when you look at it. So now let's take a look at, we could look at any area that you wanted to, but let's look at single family, for instance. Let's look at, we tend to do a lot of the 500 and above single family on our team, Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, South Miami area, So 500 single family or above in Dade County, what's that market doing? We're seeing 1.2, 1.4 months of inventory overall. Incredible. What are we seeing now? If we look at months of inventory for single family, so it's still in a seller advantage, less than 6 months, 1.8, 1.5. So it's been a seller's market for the last year or so. Now let's take a look at the months of inventory and closed sales, April 22 versus 21. There's been 12.9% increase in the inventory, 1.8 versus 1.6 months of inventory. So it's still a seller advantage. People are talking about a shifting market. Yes, we're seeing an upward trend from March to April in terms of months of inventory. Let's see what we're seeing here. Yes, we are seeing from January to April, we had an increase from 4,000 to 5,000 listings. So it's a 20% increase of single family homes over 500,000 hitting the market in South Florida in the last few months. Question is that seasonal? How does that compare to last year at this time, January to April? So January to April, we actually saw a decrease in single family listings, at least February to April. We saw a decrease last year of about 20% or so, from 5,400 listings available to 4,400 listings available. So this could signal an increase. This could signal that shift that people have been talking about with an increase in inventory. The question remains, what's going to happen in May, June, July? Do we continue to see that trend? That's very telling, but we're starting to see from this standpoint, single family 500 and above, one could argue that there is a possible shift going on here in terms of 20% increase in inventory. Perhaps that's seasonal. People tend to put single family homes on the market after the holidays, starting in January for that single family peak season, which tends to be about January through July, where you put your property on the market. What are we seeing for single family above 500 in all of South Florida? Pending sales. So 2,400 pending sales in January, 2,600 pending, 3,180. So you're seeing an uptick in pending sales, as is to be expected during the single family peak season, January to July. What do we see in terms of closed sale? We're seeing an increase in closed sales. So what are we seeing in terms of for sale, current versus same month today? Let's say current versus same month 1 year ago. For sale, we're seeing a 12% increase in homes for sale, 500 or above, single family. We're seeing a 3.9% reduction in sold properties, April 22 versus April 21. And we're seeing a pending sale increase of 11.4. So yes, there's an increase of 12% April now versus April last year, where you had 4,415. Something to be aware of, something to watch out for. And you're seeing less sales, but the good news from a consumption standpoint, you're seeing almost a 11.4% increase in pending sales, which is 3,089 versus 2,773. So for something to watch out for is definitely the active listings. What do we see this looking like when we get to May and June? How will it compare to 4563 and 4864? Is it going to continue that upward trend? Another thing we can look at is looking at the last 5 years. Let's say let's see if we can go custom date range, period, yearly. I want to go back a little further just to gain some perspective and see where we were, see where we are. Last 15 years. Let's try last 15 years. Yearly. Okay, show chart. For single family, 500 and above, let's say. Again, my name is Jason with Keller Williams, Jason Smith, the Jason Smith Showcase team at Keller Williams Coral Gables Coconut Grove office here in Miami, Florida. So looking at, okay, let's see if we can, it's going back and processing the data for us for the last 15 years so we can gain perspective to see where the inventory was, how much inventory, how much consumption. Taking a little while here, but here we are. So this is very telling, isn't it? So we're looking at 2021. What was the amount of inventory? 4,000 homes for sale in the 500 or above single family price range in Dade County. 4,000 homes. What was it back in 2007? Okay, so you had 14,000 homes versus 4,000. So almost 400% more homes were available back in 07. Then inventory started to go down in 08, 09, 2010. It bottomed out at around 2012, the lowest inventory. And inventory started to build up as you start to get 13, 14, 15, 16. What's remarkable to me is that over time, what changes is the amount of inventory, what's available. It's not the consumption that changes dramatically. Sure, in the last 2 years, we've seen a dramatic increase in single family because of COVID, because of low interest rates, a lot of people moving from California, the Northeast to Miami, a lot of confluence of factors happening. But as you can see, by and large, the consumption remains pretty steady over the last 14 years or so. What's changing is the inventory. So that's what we're watching out for to see what happens in the months ahead. Does this inventory, the light green, does it go up or not? So there you have it. If you'd like to get a real specific look at your neighborhood, your price point, condo, single family, townhouse, anywhere in South Florida or anywhere in the world for that matter, Keller Williams is in 53 countries, and we have relationships with great agents all over the world with Keller Williams. Be happy to put you in touch with the right agent. But this is a snapshot of what's happening in Miami right now. But I'm happy. Just please give me a call or text me, 786-326-8115, and I'll give you a custom tailored look at what the market's doing for your property if you're considering selling or buying for that matter. Thanks for tuning in. We'll touch base with you soon. Jason Smith. Our website is showcasemiami.com. You can follow us on Instagram. It's at Showcase Miami. You can follow us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Showcase Miami, one word. And our YouTube channel is Showcase Miami on YouTube. So thanks a lot, folks. Have a great day. See you soon.